Let's see, is it 9? All right, so that sheet's getting passed around. It's 9 a.m. So, first of all, guys, thank you for being here. My name is Sean Barnett. It looks like this board got really cleaned, which is nice. But I leave my name and my phone number up here all the time. If it gets erased, I come here every Monday and Friday at 9 a.m. and we do these Dreams to Results workshops. I recognize a lot of you from I walk out on the streets 3 to 5 times a week as well. So we can do work on the street. If you can't meet in this room on Mondays and Fridays at 9, there's plenty of times we can get together. When I say this, that you can call me anytime, I absolutely mean it. And there's multiple people down here that will attest that you can call me at 3 in the morning, you can call me at midnight, you can call me anytime. If for some reason I'm asleep, because I'm getting older, my prostate makes me get up and pee at least twice through the night, so I'll check my phone and I'll do my best to get back to you, and go over anything you need. Hey, what's up, Tammy? Tammy will attest. I take phone calls and anytime, and I love it.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Anytime. You can get me at 7 a.m. for sure. So, a little bit about me so that you know kind of who I am. I've been homeless before. It was only for about a month, but I've gotten food from Salvation Army. I've lived in the cold. It was up in Alaska. I'm so sorry you guys are going through this today. I know it was 1 degree today, so I know it was very cold.
It's comfortable.
There you go. It is comfortable.
Because every day it's cold, that's another day we get to look forward to spring coming back.
Nice, nice. There's good attitude. Good attitude. So I'm also an ex-drug addict. I'm a convicted felon. So I'm not saying that the reason I say that is so you understand I've been through a lot of struggles and have come out of it. I have no idea what each of you is going through, and I don't pretend to. The other thing that I'll say, I don't have any answers for you, and nothing that I'm going to teach you here is going to be some groundbreaking, life-changing information. Okay? I do believe that every answer to every one of your issues is within you. So hopefully, I'll share some things that may give you some insights so that you can find the answers to your own issues. All right? So, go ahead. Yeah, the sign-up board's going around. Cliff just got here. I already passed that around. I'll give you your the material. This is Cliff. He's here every week also. Anyway, today, some of you have been here to multiple workshops, but since it's the new year and this has been closed down for 2 weeks, we haven't been able to meet on Mondays and Fridays because the room's been closed down. Today, we're going to do an overview of everything we've done over the last 11 workshops. This is our 12th workshop down here.
The last time you said you didn't pass out the handcuff for the 11th week, so you're good.
I forgot to pass one out one time? Okay, I admit that. If I forget to pass out the sign-up sheet, that's... I forget a lot of things. So... yeah. All right. So the premise of this is... So Eudaemonia is the name of our movement. Eudaemonia was a term created by Aristotle back in the 300s. It means human thriving. And so that's what I'm here to do is to share with you how I have gone from homeless, drug addict, felon, criminal, broke, jobless, to human thriving. Okay? Now, all I can do is share with you my experiences. Again, I don't have the answers within you, and I don't have the answers for you, but I know they're within you, and that's the coolest thing, right? So, I can hand you a map. I can hand you the most exquisite map that you've ever seen in your life. It has details of every tree and every path and road that there is in the entire world. And that map would be worthless without 2 things. There's 2 things we have to know to use any map. The first thing is, where am I? And then the second thing is, where do I want to go? You guys are starting to see this isn't groundbreaking stuff, right? That's the coolest thing about this, is that you guys all understand this, right? So the first thing I have to understand is, where am I? Then I have to understand, where do I want to go? If I am not getting to where I want to go, I suggest that there's only two possibilities. One, so what I need to get from where I am to where I want to go is knowledge. Okay? And so if I'm not getting where I want to go, I suggest that there's only two possibilities. One, I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the knowledge. The second possibility is, I have the knowledge, but I'm willfully ignoring it. Okay? So I either have the knowledge of how to get from where I am to where I want to go, or I'm willfully ignoring the knowledge. All right? So again, real simple. If I want to get to here, where I am right now, I've been here multiple times. This is my 12th time doing the workshop right here. I know that if I want to get here, I just come down this hallway. All right? So again, very simple concept. The definition of insanity, we've heard that a million times, is to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. But I also suggest that the definition of sanity is that I do the same things over and over and expect the same results. So if I don't want to get here, I just don't come down this hallway. If I do want to get here, I do come down this hallway. So wherever I am today, wherever I am right now, there's a trail of evidence that's left behind me of how I got here. And that's the same for anybody. All right? So if somebody else has accomplished something that you want, there's a trail of evidence. They can share with you, hey, here's what I did to get to this particular place. Does that make sense, guys? Pretty simple stuff. So here's the concept that we always have to start with. All right? This is called teachability. Teachability. And Cliff has some handouts that he can pass out on teachability. I don't know if we have enough for everybody, so maybe we'll hold off on that, because this is the biggest class we've ever had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. About 20 people. That's awesome. Okay, so when we're talking about teachability, that's how I get knowledge, right? In order to gain knowledge, I have to be teachable. So in the teachability bell curve, okay, it looks something like this. I'm not a great artist, all right? But down here on these ends, you'll notice, so here's this kind of flat line, all right? Down here at the extremes, this is where you absolutely cannot learn shit. You can't learn a goddamn thing if you're in this place or this place. This place is called arrogance. If I am arrogant, I can't learn shit. This place is called naive. Everybody know those words, arrogant and naive? If I'm naive, I can't learn shit. If I'm arrogant, I can't learn shit. All right? So as we move in a little bit, we come to this place where you can just barely learn shit. All right? This side is called cynical. It's where every time someone says something, I'm like, yeah, I basically say, you're full of shit. Right? Over here, this is called gullible. This is where no matter what someone feeds me, I swallow it. Someone tells me something, I just say, okay, I believe it no matter what. Okay, you can barely learn shit in cynical and in gullible. All right? Here, as we move along, this is where we can start to really learn, are these two places. This first place is called skeptical. That means I'm listening to you, but I'm not sure if what you're telling me is true, but I'll consider it. But I really don't really know if I believe you. Okay? This place over here is called trusting. All right? Trusting is when someone says something and you say, huh, I think that might be true. I'll consider that, right? So one is I'm not sure if that's true, but I'll consider it. And the other one is, I feel that is true, and I'll consider it. This is where we can really start to learn. This is where we start to acquire knowledge. But the place where you actually gain the knowledge, where you know something, is right here, right in the middle. On this side, we'll call this side student. And on this side, we'll call this side teacher. Now, what I'm telling you right now, I hope that you guys right now as we're doing this either are skeptical of what I'm telling you or trusting of what I'm telling you. But how we turn this into student teacher is that the first place I go to is student. And what that means is I hear a concept, I'm either skeptical or trusting of it, and then I apply it to my own life to find out if it's true. I have to implement it. I have to take action on it and see if it actually works out for my life. Hold on one second. Can you turn that music down a little bit? Thanks, man. All right. And then, if I apply it to my life as a student, and it does work for me, now, whenever I find somebody else who's going through what I went through, I teach it to them. Okay, so right here, this concept, Bruce Lee is one of my favorites. Is everybody here know Bruce Lee? Oh, yeah. All right, Bruce Lee is one of my favorites. He had a couple things that he said. One is, an expert is somebody who can do something very, very well, right? A master is someone who can not only do it really well, but can teach it to others. All right? So this is this place I encourage you with any concepts we do. Start out skeptical or trusting. If you start out arrogant, cynical, or gullible, naive, you're fucked. You know what I mean? You really are. You can't learn shit. You want to go through or come in? Love to have you. All right, my brother. All right? If you're skeptical or trusting of this stuff, then we can apply it. Move on. All right? Then, once you apply it to your life, the second thing that Bruce Lee said that I draw off of is that this entire process, take what is useful, discard what is useless, and then add what is essentially you. Does that make sense? That's what we're looking to do. So if I teach you something, you're skeptical or trusting, you apply it to your life, and you find out that it's bullshit, that's cool. Get rid of it. You know? If you find out that it works, take it on and then add to it.
And make it yours.
Yeah, you add to it and make it yours. Each person, go ahead.
So it'd be like empowerment.
It is empowerment, yes. You have it all within you. I know you do, and I know you know that, Tammy. I know you know that, right? So each person on this planet that's ever walked this planet has a very unique thumbprint, right?
Yeah.
We can look at our thumbprints. They're all very similar, but no two are the same. Every single person in this room has something unique to offer this world. You have something very unique to add to this planet, all right? So, the things that get in our way, right? Either I don't have the knowledge, or I'm willfully ignoring it. Willfully ignoring it can be, I know what to do. I know what's next. And a lot of the things that get in the way are things like beliefs, right? I might have a limiting belief. I'll use an example of this. And these are the type of things that we can get together and work on. Before we leave here, we'll have an action step, okay, for today, all right? But I'm just going to use an example of a limiting belief that I found is very common around people who have ended up being homeless. I'm really talking about myself, but I found that this is the same with a lot of people. Is there anyone here who has been accused of having ADD or ADHD? Right? Is there any of you guys? I see a lot of hands going up. All right? Yeah. ADD and ADHD, right? Attention deficit disorder. It's a label that gets put on people that aren't interested all the time in something someone's telling them, right? Yeah. So I'm going to share something that happened to me that completely changed this belief so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is just an example of where I went from having a limited belief to understanding that I actually had a gift. Because that's where we're switching from, right? From limiting beliefs to gifts will allow us to take action on the things that I'm willfully ignoring. So, imagine this for a second. At the beginning of time, human beings came to this planet and started to build societies. And in order for those societies to function well, we needed two types of people: hunters and gatherers. All right? We needed somebody to go out and get the meat. We needed somebody to go gather the firewood and the berries and the all the toppings, right? to go with the meat, right? So we'll start with the gatherers. Their job was to do the same thing day after day after day after day, sort of like endurance runners, right? So their brains became adaptable to doing the same thing over and over and over, right? Hunters, on the other hand, they had to go out and sort of scan the area, go to different places, more nomadic. They had to move around to different, all types of different places, because the food doesn't stay in the same place, right? With gathering, it does, right? You know where the wood is, you know where the trees are. You don't know where the animals are, all right? Well, over time, these gatherers started getting more proficient, and they created what's called farming, all right? So they started to grow their own crops in the same place and do the same thing day after day. Well, when you do that, you end up using the same land, and so they started staying in the same places, and slowly there became towns, and then those towns became cities, okay? And in the cities, when you've passed on your land over and over and over, you start to get power and wealth, all right? So then they start to build armies, all right? So the cities, somewhere like London, for instance, right? For centuries and centuries, land's been passed on, and then they built armies. Okay? Always doing the same thing over and over. Hunters, on the other hand, would go sit up on a plateau and scan. You might call it daydreaming. Okay? A hunter needs to be able to save all of his mental energy. So he sits up on the plateau and scans and daydreams. Does this sound familiar to anybody? The desire to daydream, right? Now, if a rabbit came into my vision and I'm a hunter, I'm going to get what's called hyperfocus. Is there anyone who's had ADD that can't give attention to a great video game? Right? That's called hyperfocus, right? I get a good video game, I'm on it, right? For hours. Time disappears. Okay? When that rabbit comes into my vision, all of a sudden I'm locked in. I am processing highly complex mathematical equations in my head. If this rabbit's going this speed, I'm going to take a rock, I'm going to put it at a projection in front of it, right? If I throw the rock where the rabbit was, the rabbit's moving, the rock's going to miss it. I might be figuring out how to corral it into a certain canyon or something. So I'm doing highly complex mathematical equations. Does this sound familiar to you guys? You guys are brilliant, right? You can process a ton of information fast. You don't need me to tell you these concepts for 2 hours. You're catching it right now, right? Hunters have the ability to grasp these concepts immediately, all right? Now, if I'm just about to kill the rabbit, I am literally 5 seconds from smashing this rabbit and an elk comes into my vision. Am I even going to remember that rabbit? No way, right? I'm off onto the elk immediately, because the elk is going to provide meat for maybe a month for the tribe, right? So I don't even care about the rabbit anymore. Well, what happened when England came over to colonize America? All right? They said, hey, who wants to go over, across the sea to some place you've never been and colonize this place, right? Do you think any of the farmers who had this land for years and years and years said, I'd like to get on those boats? Fuck no, right? It was just the hunters. Yeah, I'll go. So all of a sudden we bring all these hunters over to America, but guess what else we brought to America? The educational system of the farmers. The educational system of the cities, right? And all of a sudden, here we are 200 years later, I don't know how many years later, 500 years, I don't know how long since that happened, right? And we, as little kids, are sit in this room and pay attention to what this teacher has to say. She gives us a concept about 2 + 2 is 4. We get it right off the bat, right? And then she has to go on for 40 minutes to make sure if there's any farmers in the room, right? And you fall asleep just like that, right? Just bam. Or you start talking to your neighbor, or you start throwing your pencil up and see if you can stick it in the, anybody do that? To see if they can stick their pencil in the foam ceilings. You know, next thing you know, you're labeled disruptive. You got to go to the principal's office, right? And all of a sudden, this starts to follow you. This is a disruptive kid, all right? They don't understand that you were blessed. You were blessed with the hunter gene, okay? It is a genetic blessing. You have the ability to process massive amounts of information in a very short amount of time. Go ahead.
We called that, what was it, ESL?
What is it?
No, not ESL. What was the class we had?
Resource?
No, it was
Yeah, I think it was ESL.
special ed.
No, special ed.
Oh, special ed,
Yeah,
right?
But they really should have been at ESL.
Yeah,
They should have been at
They're
ESL.
starting to say we're stupid when really,
Yeah.
it's not the one's better than the other. I don't want to start saying
Right.
hunters are better than gatherers, right?
But there is.
But it's like, it's the difference between an endurance runner and a sprinter,
Yeah.
all right? The marathon runner is awesome. Usain Bolt could never beat him. But that marathon runner can't even touch Usain Bolt in a 200-yard dash, right?
Yeah.
Different blessings.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You have a different blessing than the educational system wanted to provide support for, right?
They didn't know how.
They didn't know how, right? Or if they did, it was easier to try and fit everybody into one size fits all, so then they put you into the size that fits the rich, right? Because the rich are the ones who passed on the land from generation after generation, right?
Yeah.
And the nomads, the ones who moved around, right, like us, right, who were highly intelligent, highly dreaming, have amazing dreams, amazing ideas. I'll bet you every single person in this room has an amazing idea. I'll bet you anything that every single person in this room has something that they're like, I need to give this to the world. I need to bring this out, right? But for some reason, we're not fitting into the system. Go ahead.
Sort of like speaking,
What's that?
sort of like public speaking.
Public speaking is one, all right? This has been a dream of mine, okay? I want to tell you guys something. Every time I come down here, I can still feel it, the dryness in my mouth. Every time I come down here, I experience absolute terror. I don't think you guys can see that. I go through it, and then I just come down here and let whatever you want to call it, let love speak through me. You know what I'm saying? Because I love you guys. I love every single one of you. I've been there. I've been here. We're the same. We're the same person. You know, different experiences, same human heart, right? But it terrifies me. It terrifies me every time. I'm not sure exactly what that comes from. I know at 5 years old I was labeled disruptive. They put, I don't remember one report card in elementary school that didn't say, can't listen to and follow directions, highly disruptive, right? I was told I have oppositional defiance behaviors, right? Because I oppose everything. I question everything. I fall here more often than not, skeptical, all right? I'm sure you guys do too. And that's why I encourage you, don't be naive or gullible, but also don't be arrogant and cynical, right? It doesn't work. Those don't work. Skeptical and trusting works. Then I apply it to my life, find out if it's true, and then move on, okay? If I find that it is true, I keep my eyes peeled for somebody else to teach it to, all right? So that's where we're going to move towards the end of this. I want you to know, usually we're about 45 minutes of some information. I have days and days and days of information I would love to share with you. But the last 15 minutes, we're going to break into small groups and actually establish one more step. So, in this thing of skeptical and trusting, okay, I want to talk to you next about the state that it takes to go to figure out the answers inside from where I am to where I want to go. So again, I go back to the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. I know most of you are going to want to stay seated in your seats for this exercise. I encourage you to get out of your comfort zone for just 15 seconds. And you don't have to, of course, but if you'll stand up, I want to show you something. Okay? This is something so that you can actually apply this right now. Hold on a second. You can apply this right now and find out whether I'm full of shit or not on this next exercise. Okay? What I suggest, and again, you'll have to let me know whether this is true or not.
It's false.
What I suggest, now that's called cynical, and you're not going to learn shit.
Yeah.
All right? So you can stay there, but you won't learn shit.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, I'm not sure. That's going to be skeptical, and then you might learn something. Okay? Cool?
Yeah.
All right, guys. What I suggest is that emotion is connected to motion. All right? I actually got this from
Yep.
Tony Robbins.
It is.
All right? It is.
Because I get in fights when I get mad.
Okay. Do this. Picture that you are in at the Olympics. You've just won the gold medal. You're getting there. You've just won the gold medal, and you're up on the stand. Literally put your body in the position of winning the gold medal. The head goes up. That's it. Yeah. Get up there. Go all the way up. Yeah. You can just be like, yeah, you won the gold medal, right? Get all the way up. Come on, you won the gold medal. You won it. Come on, you won. You put in all that work. Come up, yep, jumping up. All right, now from here, from this place, get depressed. Get depressed. As you drop, can you feel the energy literally drop out of your body as you go like this?
No, I got a lot of energy.
Yeah. So go ahead and take it. Sit back down if you'd like. I'm going to explain what that phenomenon was. Okay? When you felt all that energy here, you didn't get a chance to feel it because you didn't do it.
No, I have my
I got my beliefs.
proper mind.
Yeah, you're doing it in your mind.
Everything is happening in my mind. So that's fine. I respect it.
I understand. I'm not trying to force you to do it. But there's a difference between conceptualizing and actually having knowledge.
No.
Knowledge means the people who just did that, who went from here to here, literally felt the energy from here drop out. You felt this high energy to no energy, to lowering the energy. So now you know it's true. You could have been skeptical or trusting, but now you know for sure whether or not that's true. If it didn't work for you, you say, that didn't work for me. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any difference between here and here. That's possible. All right? What I'm going to suggest is that feeling, what you felt, okay? That we have this sort of constant line, and some people call it God, some people call it the universe, some people call it love, right? What I'm going to label it for these purposes is I'm going to call it truth. It's whatever my particular truth is. Each one of you has a different truth of what who you really are is. Right? Some do call it God or whatever you want to call it, the universe, natural knowing, intuition, whatever it is, right?
Higher power.
Higher power, right? You call it whatever you want, right? Who you really are, the truth about who you really are. Have you ever heard the term vibrational frequencies? Okay? So all energy travels in vibrational frequencies and in waves, right? So light waves are more like a flipping sound waves go like this, right? There's FM and AM. They're waves that travel in different ways. I'm not a scientist, but what I suggest is that lower vibrating emotions like shame, guilt, fear, right? That their frequency, the frequency of the vibration is long and slow like this. Okay? And if I look at that, what I see is that I am hitting, if I'm operating in shame or guilt or fear or anger or sadness, I am hitting my truth very, go ahead. You're good, my brother. I'm hitting it very infrequently. Do you see how this isn't hitting very frequently? Whereas if I'm in love or trust or joy, excitement, right? This place. What I'm doing is I'm hitting that truth very frequently. like that, that wave travels like that, very fast, and I'm hitting I'm hitting the truth with a high frequency. You ever I had never put it into those terms before. Someone taught me this, that's the way that waves of emotion, that's the way, that's why it's called frequency. It's how frequently am I hitting the truth. All right? So what I suggest is that if I take where am I and where I want to go, all of the answers are within me of what's the next step. If I don't know exactly how to do it, the answer of where to go or who to talk to or whatever will present itself, and then I have to have courage to step out of my comfort zone and ask a question to gain that knowledge, right? But the answers present themselves. So, is anyone open to sharing a place they'd like to go that they're not at right now? Is there anything that anybody have a dream that they, this is my dream? What's your dream?
Apartment.
What is it?
My apartment.
Empowerment.
Apartment.
Oh, an apartment.
Yeah.
Okay, an apartment. Perfect.
Yeah.
So
Procrastinating.
we'll just use an example, and then we're going to start breaking into groups, right? So here's where you are, homeless, right? And here's where you want to be, apartment.
Yeah.
Okay? So I want to go from homeless to an apartment. What is your next step?
Go talk to the next person.
Go
Like
talk to.
George or somebody.
What's that? Go talk to.
George, the housing people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next step.
Get a job.
The next step is going and talking to the housing people.
Yeah.
That's what you believe, right? And has that happened for you?
It hasn't. I lost it.
It hasn't yet, right? So here's what I'm going to suggest.
It's there.
Say it again.
It's there. But
It started, but it's not happening,
Yeah.
right? Guys, please pay attention to this, because this is the work that we do in these workshops. Okay? This is a perfect example. I'm going to use this as an example to not only teach you, but to everybody. Okay? So you've imagined that the next step is getting to the housing people, right?
Getting my ID and again.
Yeah.
Procrastinating. I'm procrastinating.
All these things that are out here that you're not getting done.
Yeah.
Right. I suggest that that's not your next step. I suggest that, just think about this. Is it possible that the next step is actually finding out the name of the place where the housing people are?
Oh, it's on 17th and Main.
What's that?
17th and Main.
17th and Main.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay. So then how will you get there?
Walk.
Walk?
Not very far.
Yeah. And so you know for sure 17th and Main is where you need to be.
Or
What's that?
somewhere over there.
Somewhere around there.
I know where it is.
You know where it is, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've been there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next step is walking there.
Or the bus. It doesn't-
Or the bus.
Yeah.
Well, you can make
That's
the decision,
my
right?
step to get there. Okay.
Right? But the next step is the next step is taking a step
I'm
in that.
procrastinating, okay?
Yeah, you're procrastinating.
I know.
That's right.
I
So
know.
that falls under willfully ignoring it, right?
Hopefully not anymore.
Willfully ignoring it.
Yeah.
So the next step is literally taking a step toward that place, right? Taking one step toward that place, and then another, right? It's always that simple, guys. It's always that simple. If I suggest, again, and I encourage you to be either skeptical or trusting of this, all right? I suggest that the answer for what is next on whatever goal you have is right in front of you. And that if you're not accomplishing it, it's because you're putting the goal maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead of what's the actual next step.
Yeah.
Okay? Now here's the other thing, guys. This is so great. We have over 20 people in here today. I walk the streets sporadically because I have my family. I have, all my life that I'm taking care of now, going after my own dreams, right? But you guys have coffee available every day here at like 8, right? So after we break into small groups, what I encourage is that you start to make connections within each other. I saw Michael sharing something with you today. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yep. I saw Michael sharing with you something this morning, helping each other. And this is how we do it. We start to build communities. Because what you're saying about that procrastination, would it help if there was somebody holding you accountable? If there was someone who also was going to be going to that exact same place with you that said, hey, you said we were leaving at 9 today, let's go.
Kind of, yeah, but I usually do it by myself because I usually don't have that person with me.
And how's that working out for you?
I know I need to do it.
Right. So let's go back to another one of these basic concepts. All right?
But people are too caught up here.
Okay, I got you. I 100%.
So
I hear exactly what you're saying.
It's not that I'm afraid, and it's not
I
that I
hear you.
want to move on.
It's just not working.
Well,
It's
the weather's
working.
been so damn cold,
It's
it's
just-
hard
Oh,
to
yeah.
breathe. And so you
Maybe
don't want to
it's
do it
working.
because it's too cold
It's just
But
I
I
don't have the
suggest
right person.
maybe
I'm
her
not
first step
giving that
isn't,
person.
maybe
Let's hear. Here's a
hearing what
suggestion.
she's saying, people are too caught up. Maybe the first step isn't stepping to go to the housing. Maybe the first step is to taking care of the reason she's too caught up.
That's
The
my
what?
ID.
Taking care of the reason that
It's my
she's too caught up.
ID.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So that there's an underlying issue. That's what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
I agree. Here's what one thing that I found out that I know in my life. Okay, and I'm not saying that this is true for everybody, but I found this to be true in my life. A lot of things lie to me. My own brain lies to me. My own mouth lies to me. My family lies to me. My friends lie to me.
You lie to yourself.
All my
you're
memory
fucked.
lies to me, right? There's a
I don't
lot
know
of
about
things
myself.
that can lie. What I've found is there's one thing that doesn't lie to me. The only thing I've found so far in my life that does not lie to me is results. Again, very simple concept. But I hear you saying you're not getting the result you want yet. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing to look at. What is going to get me results? So in building community, you guys have one of the strongest communities down here. You know, I see it all the time. There is so much love and support amongst each other. There's also all kinds of trouble. I get that. There's all kinds of things in our way, right?
That's because you were here. No.
So what I suggest is that not only after we break into groups, and I know most of you won't do this, and that's okay, but even if a few of you do this, I suggest that you gather a couple people who are also committed to getting the results they want, and you start to form a little support group where maybe you just hold each other accountable. Check in. Hey, here was my one next action step that I promised today. It's amazing what you can accomplish just accomplishing one little thing day after day. The big problem is when I think, oh, I need to accomplish this gigantic goal, it becomes too big and I end up doing nothing at all. Instead of breaking it down and saying, all I need to accomplish to have a successful day today is this one little thing. All I need to accomplish today is find one person who's going to go with me. Or find out the exact name of that. Or find out the exact person you want to talk to when you get there. Or just actually going there. All I need to do is to get to 17th and Main today. That's the one thing, and if I accomplish that one thing, today is a success. And what I propose is that you do that thing first thing in the morning. That way, no matter what else you do the rest of the day, you got your thing done.
The goal.
Yeah. You just get the one thing done in the morning. One small thing. And I encourage you to help each other. Because somebody may say, hey, this is that next thing. And you from the outside may see you've got something in your blind spot. That isn't the next step. I've been through that very thing. A lot of you have been through the very things that the other person needs.
So what if you write out a timeline to do that?
Well, you can write out a timeline if you want to, and that may help. And writing things down is certainly a very powerful thing. But what I
Because
suggest...
sometimes I like to write out what my my goals are, my goal list for the week, so I try to follow through on that. That reminds me of my biggest things I need to do.
Yeah, you can do that. That would be great. But I encourage you that the most important thing is to take care of the one thing each day. You guys know Tammy actually calls me up and checks that I've done my one thing? My brother. Okay, to be
What if
continued.
you can't do one
Alright.
thing? What if you have to do fucking 10 things?
You don't let it get in the way.
Because
There's only
I can't
one.
just do one thing, dude. I gotta do 10 things at the same fucking time or I go crazy.
Yeah, but
Yeah, is that true?
Yep.
How do you know that's true?
what are the
I'm doing
results?
10 things right now.
All right, yeah, I can see that. How's that working for you?
Great.
Is it?
It is.
Okay, cool.
Look at that.
Well, then again,
Bam,
this is,
bam,
you
bam,
missed something,
bam.
my friend. You missed something. I told if you're getting the results you want out of life, I ask you to not participate right
Well,
now.
I'm
So
not
can you
getting the
just
results or I wouldn't be homeless.
okay? So what I'm suggesting then is that what
So I
you're
need
doing
better
is not
tips.
working.
You gotta help yourself.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I'm suggesting is that what you're doing is not working for you
Yeah.
because you're not getting the results you want. So is it possible? Is it possible?
That's what I'm
Just consider this possibility. Is it possible that doing 10 things at once is not working?
So maybe I gotta do 20.
Maybe you've got to do one. I ask you to be either skeptical or trusting of that concept and then try it.
Okay, maybe
Apply it
my
to
one
you.
thing
Okay?
is to add more things. And it's still one thing.
Okay, if you want to hold on to that, that's great. Do you guys see? Hopefully you're looking at this and seeing this concept in action.
Yeah.
Where when I'm arrogant or cynical, I say, I already know, and I'm going to keep giving you the exact same answer no matter how many questions you ask. You can't learn anything. All right, you end up just not learning a goddamn thing. Whereas if you can just be trusting or skeptical and say, at least I'll give it a shot and I'll find out for myself.
Yeah, but that would just empower you more, that when you accomplish that one thing, you can
Okay,
make
so
another
what do you
thing
do when you
follow
accomplish
through
that
with. So
Then
you-
you
one
do it.
thing?
10.
When you
Go
finish,
sit down and fucking you can't.
Then you
that's
can
a possibility.
Then you fucking go do that one other thing.
That's a possibility too.
Because I mean, you might as well make use of your time, your
Yeah,
day.
you're
your
on the
life.
right track, my friend. Speaking of tracks, have you guys
They
ever
got-
seen a
they'll take your stuff.
locomotive?
You better watch out. They go fast.
Have you ever
Might be
seen a
right.
locomotive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
You ever
When the
been on
locomotive is stopped and it first starts, right?
No.
It takes a ton of energy, right? You've got to get all that
Approximately a
coal
mile
built
to
up
stop.
and whatever. Hold on, could you just respect these other people, please? Thanks. Appreciate it, my friend. All right.
Time.
Okay. When a locomotive is stuck, right, especially in the ice like this or whatever, takes a ton of energy. All the smoke is billowing out.
Probably
and
more
it
than a
barely the wheels barely turn. Have you ever seen that when
Yeah.
when a train's starting, the wheels are just going, right?
Sounds like a creaky door.
Yeah, and then it starts to build what we call momentum, right? Momentum is a crazy thing. So if I go ahead and accomplish that one thing, and tell me your name, my friend.
Dave.
Dave. I'm Sean.
Hi, Sean.
What Dave was saying is that if I accomplish that one thing, then there's going to be another one, right? And then there ends up more and more and more. Well, that's right. Because if I want to get from where I am to where I want to go, there isn't just one step, right? There might be 1,000 steps. But if I just accomplish the one, right? What I'm suggesting is that one is enough for today.
No, for
And that tomorrow,
Before lunch.
one is enough for tomorrow. Now, if I accomplish the one and it makes me accomplish 7, what did I lose?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You're empowering yourself to do
Right.
it all.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not saying that you have to do 50 or 6 or 2 or whatever. I'm suggesting try one and then see if there's 2 and then see if
Yeah.
there's 3. All right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is break into small groups. Pam, you want to go to the back there? Do you have the? There's some blank papers at the very back there, and there's pens and all that stuff. So I encourage you to write down if you want to. You don't have to do this again, but write down where I'm at, where I want to go, and then in the groups we'll establish what's that next one thing to accomplish, and then if you can, gather a couple people that are also committed to their one thing and say, hey, will you hold me accountable? I'll meet you at coffee at 8 or wherever you want to meet. I don't know the answers for you, right? Wherever you want to meet, right? And hold each other accountable day after day. Did I accomplish that next one step? And see how it goes. Okay? That's all I'm suggesting today. On Monday, I'll have new concepts, right? We went over a ton of the stuff today. A lot of, for all of you guys that have been here to multiple workshops, a lot of this was repetition. I also suggest that repetition is a good thing. If I keep feeding myself the same data into my head over and over, my brain starts to operate on that data, right? So if I'm feeding myself that I'm a piece of shit and I have ADD, right, then I'm going to operate on that. If I feed myself, no, I'm brilliant, I have the hunter gene, I have an ability that can create all kinds of dreams, right, then that may be, you're all good, my brother, all right, that may be, you know, the data that starts driving your mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's break into small groups. You want to work in the back? There's plenty of pens. Again, if you don't want to do it, that's all good. But if you do want to do it, that's all good. That's all good.
Okay, so one thing.
My brother.
Here wants to participate.
Okay, you got it.
I do, but
There will be
Okay,
one
well, I'll sit up here with you guys. Anyone wants to make their way up here? Okay. Understandable.
I'm gonna go outside with her.
Hey,
Anybody?
okay.
Can
Okay, if anyone has any questions,
Every Monday.
take questions at the end of the session, okay?
Every Monday and Friday.
I drive.
And you can find me on the street too.
You could even ask Sean, I drive him crazy making sure that he's doing what he needs to do.